Hello everyone, welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how Arsenal should line up for the remaining Premier League fixtures. How Arsenal should line up for the remaining Premier League fixtures. Now, of course, there will be different opinions on this. I don't even think Mikel Arteta himself would go for this lineup that I'm gonna go for. So stick around to the end of the video to also find out how I think Arteta himself could line up, or what he's thinking for the remaining 10 Premier League fixtures. Now, the Premier League has announced that top flight English football is going to return to our screens on June 17th. And Manchester City against Arsenal is amongst the first fixtures to be played. A team that we haven't beaten in quite a while, and a stadium that we haven't actually won at since 2015, that 2-0 masterclass with Cazorla and Coquelin. We've never had any other good game on that ground since. And that is not the only hard fixture that we have remaining. After that tough trip to the Etihad, we traveled to Brighton, another team that has given us very bad memories recently, and including this season. Embark's, I think, first Premier League game or second, they beat us at the Emirates Stadium. And last season, we needed just a point, not actually a point, we needed 2 more points to clinch Champions League football, and Brighton came away from our ground with a draw, and that cost us. And I remember Wenger's last season, we also traveled to Brighton and lost that game, so we haven't had some good memories against them. Another game after that is Southampton away, the team that ended Emirates' 22-game unbeaten run, and a team or a ground that we lost 4-0 on Boxing Day a couple of years ago. Another very tough away day. After that, there are going to be some easier fixtures, I can say, but anyway, there's no Premier League fixture that is easy, especially playing Norwich at home, a team that is going to be fighting for survival. Not a fixture like that cannot be easy. After Norwich at home, you're going to travel to Wolves away. They trashed us by 3 goals last season, and earlier this season we drew with them. After that is going to be Leicester at home. They've been second and third basically for the whole season. A very good season for Brendan Rodgers, and they've beaten us 2 games in a row, earlier this season and at the end of last season. So all those games are going to be very hard. After that is going to be North London derby away to Tottenham. It's never easy. And then Liverpool at home, the likes of Mane and Salah, especially that they're out of the Champions League, the likes of Mane and Salah will be fighting for the Golden Boot. So I'm expecting Klopp to unleash both of them in that game. Again, after that, Aston Villa away. With 2 games remaining, they'll probably be fighting for survival too. So they'll be strong, they'll be motivated. And after them, you're going to play Watford at home, another team that will be fighting for their lives probably on the final day. So out of those 10 fixtures, none of them is easy. And considering that 5 of them are away fixtures that we haven't had any luck recently, and you know how we've been playing away from home in the last 3 to 4 years. We've had some terrible away games, so none of those fixtures is going to be easy. So in this video, I've actually considered the fixtures in the lineup, so I can't, like, for example, say away to Man City, you're going to play Martinelli, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. Of course, you're going to be trashed. So I've considered the fixture that we have, and I've considered that in the lineup. As I've said, stick to the end of the video to find out how I actually think Arteta would line up with such kind of fixtures. And let's just get straight into it. In goal, of course, Leno keeps his position. Probably one of our best players this season, saved us in so many games, saved us so many points. And going to places like Wolves, Manchester City, Tottenham, we expect to concede shot after shot after shot if we don't defend well. And having someone like Leno with safe hands will really help the situation. So Leno definitely sticks in goal. At right back, I'm going to go for Hector Bellerin, a player that has been in the news recently. People expect him to leave. Some people want him to leave. Some fans want him to go. He's been targeted the likes of Barcelona. Injuries have affected him in the last 2 years. Started his Arsenal career really well, but injuries have really affected him. But I think he's the most experienced right back we have right now, and he's been playing okay. Like the Chelsea away game, he was okay, but again, I think he picked up a knock. But I think the way he plays, the pace and everything, I think he's the guy that we need. So I'll stick him at the right back position. At centre back, it gets really interesting because we have so many players. Luis, Mustafi, Socrates, Pablo Mari, Holding is now fit, so it will be interesting to see who Arteta picks. But for me, I'm going to stick with Luis on the right side of the centre back position, and he's been playing really well, especially before the games were called off. We had beaten Everton, Newcastle, and West Ham at home, and Luis was magnificent in all those games, especially Everton at home, where he gave that pass to Aubameyang. Really good. His ball playing, his energy at the back, the way he heads the ball out, I think is, and his Premier League experience, I think he has to be there. And his partner will be Pablo Mari. Those were the last two defenders, or the last partnership we saw before the games were called off, and that was against West Ham, and they managed to keep a clean sheet. So you'd expect someone like, you'd maybe imagine someone like Mustafi starting with Luis, but I actually think Teta prefers ball playing defenders and players. So Pablo Mari and Luis in the centre back position. At left back, another position that everyone will disagree, but I'm going to go for Kieran Tierney. I'll tell you the reasons. For me, Saka, he's played the left back position for quite a while. He's not even a left back. He's done very well, but I don't want him in that position anymore. Kieran Tierney is now fit. Kolasinac is now fit. So put Kieran Tierney straight in. We need to see more of him. We've actually not seen anything from him apart from the Nottingham Forest game in the Carabao Cup, and I think the Standard Liège game in the Europa League. We haven't seen much of him, so there's no need of having him on the bench. So put him straight back in and let's see how he does. Of course, you can also go for someone like Kolasinac, but for me, I'd put Kieran Tierney. So the back four will be Kieran Tierney, Pablo Mari on the left of the centre back position, Luis on the right, and then Bellerin as the right back. In midfield, I'm going to go for Granit Xhaka. Of course, a player that over the past few months I've been saying I want him to go, but looking at watching the last few games, he's been playing really well, especially covering the left back position and the centre back position. Every time Saka goes forward, Mikel Arteta has Xhaka playing on the left back position. When Luis pushes forward, Xhaka drops back. So I think he's the only player that we have right now that can do that, unless you're playing Luis in midfield. So Xhaka has to be there, and he has to keep his calm, he's cool. He has to remain calm. No more red cards, no more silly fouls, no more giving away goals, bad passes. So I'll stick Xhaka there. And his partner for me will be Lucas Torreira. He got injured against Portsmouth, so missed the West Ham game, but I'll put him straight back in. And one of the reasons I'll put him straight in is because we have very hard fixtures, away to City, away to Wolves, away to Tottenham, Liverpool at home. All those teams have very energetic midfields. Liverpool, the likes of Henderson and Wijnaldum will run you over if you have Ceballos and Ozil in midfield. Wolves, Neves, Moutinho. Tottenham not quite much because they lost the likes of Dembele and Onyama. But all those teams, Manchester City with Gundogan and Rodrigo, all of them are really good in midfield. So we need a strong midfield, a solid midfield. So I'd go Xhaka and Torreira. In the last few games, Ceballos has been partnering Xhaka, but maybe for the games against Norwich at home and Aston Villa away and Watford at home, you can have Ceballos partnering Xhaka. So for me, that will be the midfield partnership. Ahead of them, again, very interesting positions. Martinelli can play anywhere across that midfield. Pepe can play anywhere across, maybe not on the left because we haven't really tried him there. Aubameyang can play anywhere, but I don't really like him on the right. Ozil has been playing. Ceballos can play there. Willock, Nelson, Saka can play on the left. So many players we have that can play in those positions. But on the right, I'll stick with Pepe. Pepe, of course, it hasn't been the best of seasons, but he has managed to contribute in terms of goals and assists. So I'll definitely have him on the right position. And then at the center or the attacking midfielder, I'm going to have Alexander Lacazette. I know people don't want even Lacazette to be in the lineup at all, but this having Lacazette there for now, it gives us an opportunity to try him as in the number 10. And number 2, I don't really want Ozil to play away to Wolves, Tottenham, Manchester City for the same reasons I gave for the midfield. Those teams will run you over. And Of course, I want Aubameyang to play as the central striker, so I'll push Lacazette to the midfield or the number 10 position. And also that will allow us to have either Saka or Martinelli on the left, and I'll have Saka to start on the left. I've removed Saka from defense and I've put him on the left midfield because his crossing, his contribution, the way he affects games from the wing, I think he'll be good in that position. So I'll have Saka in that position. And the Bundesliga, since the return of the Bundesliga, they've been allowed 5 substitutions. So if the Premier League goes the same direction, we could have Martinelli substituting Saka. We could have Soares coming in for Lacazette. We could have Nketiah in later, Nelson. So good plans. And up front, I'll have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, a clinical striker in amongst the top 3 best Premier League strikers at the moment, with Aguero and Kane. All very good finishers, and Aubameyang, definitely I want him to play as a central striker. If he can score all those goals from the left wing, as a central striker, he can score double that. So a way to get teams like Manchester City and those teams that will probably defend like Norwich, and also those tough games like away to Brighton, his pace will be vital. So I'll definitely have Aubameyang up front. So let me run through the squad again. Bellerin, Tierney, Nelson in goal. Leno in goal, sorry. Pablo Mari to partner Luis, Xhaka, Torreira, Pepe, Lacazette, Saka, and Aubameyang up front. So as I've said, I was going to talk about how I expect Arteta to line up, and that is how I expect him to line up the way it's on screen right now. I actually expect him to stick with Saka on the left back position because it's been really brilliant. So I actually don't see him changing things. Plus, Tierney and Kolasinac have been injury prone this season, so I can definitely see him sticking with Saka. The central defense remains the same with the right back, but in midfield he actually likes people who can pass the ball. So I expect him to go with Soares and Xhaka. And in front of them, Pep will definitely be there. And he has a very good relationship with Ozil. He actually believes in him. So Ozil could be there for him. And Aubameyang will be on the left, and Lacazette will be up front for him. So a few changes from what I want us to line up. A difference between how we should line up and how we could line up. So Saka switching positions, Soares being on the bench or being in the starting lineup. A lot of different ways we could line up. So we could also have Mustafi, as I've said, in the centre-back position if we are going for experience in these tough games, as it is on the screen right now. So if Arteta is taking caution and opting for a more defensive lineup, we could see something like that. We could have Xhaka, Soares, and Torreira really tight in the middle, and Pepe and Martinelli moving a bit back on the wings. So a lot of different ways we could play. So that is my predicted lineup and the possible lineup, or for what lineup I could have fielded if I was the manager, or Arteta, which lineup Arteta could field. Thanks for watching this video. Again, I'll link up my other videos in the description and in the YouTube card. We are really happy that the Premier League is back. Really interesting fixtures to watch. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the lineup. I'll link up my other videos in the end screen. You can click and see how Arsenal could line up in next season. And keep staying safe. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later.